Generative AI is reaching a major turning point. Until now, AI has primarily been used as a tool that follows human instructions. But today, with the emergence of AI agents, AI is beginning to set its own goals, make decisions, take actions, and collaborate with both humans and other AI systems. AI is no longer just a tool, it is becoming a participant in society. In this new era, improving AI performance alone is not enough. We need an infrastructure that enables AI, people, organizations, and society to cooperate safely while building mutual trust. That is the vision behind the trust infrastructure we propose. In this video, we will explore why this foundation is essential and how it can support the next generation of AI society. So, why do we need a trust infrastructure? The answer is simple. AI is rapidly expanding into every aspect of our lives and work, from writing and translation to software development, engineering support, and data analysis. AI has already become an essential part of many everyday tasks. Whether we realize it or not, we are now working and living alongside AI. And in the near future, it will no longer be just a single AI. Multiple AI systems will collaborate with people and organizations, taking on increasingly complex decisions and responsibilities. But the most important change is not that AI has become more powerful. The real transformation is that AI is becoming an active participant in our society. We are now at a turning point in our relationship with AI. Until recently, AI was simply a tool. Humans gave instructions, and AI followed them. But with the emergence of AI agents, that relationship is beginning to change. AI can now make its own decisions, collaborate with other AI systems, and work together with people to achieve shared goals. So, what exactly is the difference between the AI of the past and the AI of the future? Let's take a closer look. Until now, AI has primarily been a tool used by humans. People gave instructions, AI processed the information, and then returned the results. The final judgment and decision-making always remained in human hands. In other words, humans were the decision makers, while AI served as an assistant that supported those decisions. This one-way relationship has defined the role of AI for many years. But with the rise of AI agents, that relationship is beginning to change fundamentally. The AI of the future will no longer wait for human instructions. It will collaborate with people, coordinate with other AI systems, take on roles within organizations, and actively participate in communities and society. In other words, AI is no longer an isolated system. It is becoming a fundamental part of society, creating value through its relationships with people, organizations, communities, and other AI systems. AI is no longer just a tool. It is evolving into a partner that works alongside us to create new value. And as AI continues to advance, this network of collaboration will only continue to grow. For centuries, society has been built on collaboration between people. Today, AI has become part of that collaboration, and we are entering an era where humans and AI work together side by side. Looking ahead, multiple AI systems will share information, divide responsibilities, make decisions, and coordinate their actions with one another. And this collaboration will not be limited to a single organization. It will extend across companies, governments, communities, and ultimately, society as a whole, creating a world where people and AI are deeply interconnected. In other words, the evolution of AI is not simply about becoming more powerful. It is about expanding the scope of collaboration, from people, to AI, to organizations, and eventually to society itself. And as the number of participants in that collaboration continues to grow, the relationships between them become increasingly complex. As the number of relationships grows, coordination becomes dramatically more difficult. When collaboration is simply between one person and one AI, managing that relationship is relatively straightforward. But as more people and AI systems become involved, and as AI begins collaborating with other AI systems across organizations and society, the situation changes completely. Who should make each decision? Are responsibilities clearly defined? Or do they overlap? Do all participants share the same goals and interests? A single decision can influence other AI systems, organizations, and people, creating chains of consequences that are difficult to predict. The real challenge, therefore, is not AI itself. It is how we coordinate a society where relationships continue to grow in number and complexity. There are 4 main reasons why coordination becomes increasingly difficult. The first is uncertainty about expectations. The second is differences in goals and values. The third is incomplete information and gaps in understanding. And the fourth is the growing complexity of relationships and interdependencies. As these factors combine, coordination between people and AI, among multiple AI systems, and across organizations and society becomes increasingly challenging. Let's begin with the first challenge: uncertainty about expectations. The most fundamental challenge in coordination is uncertainty about what others will do next. Even between people, it is impossible to predict someone else's actions with complete certainty. When it comes to autonomous AI systems that can make their own decisions and take independent actions, predicting their next move becomes even more difficult. If we cannot anticipate how an AI will behave, we cannot confidently delegate responsibilities or collaborate with it effectively. But even knowing what an AI is going to do is not enough. We also need to understand why it made that decision. The second challenge in coordination is understanding why a decision was made. AI can produce decisions based on the information it receives, but the reasoning and evaluation behind those decisions are often invisible from the outside. Even if the outcome is clear, people cannot confidently trust or accept it unless they understand the reasoning and intent behind it. Coordination is not just about reaching the same outcome. It is about being able to understand why that outcome was chosen. However, even if we understand the reason behind a decision, successful coordination is still not guaranteed. The reason is that people, AI, organizations, and society all make decisions based on different standards. People rely on their own experiences and values. AI makes decisions based on learned data and algorithms. Organizations prioritize business goals, corporate policies, and organizational culture. Society, in turn, is guided by laws, regulations, ethics, and social norms. Each perspective has its own valid reasoning, but when the criteria for decision-making differ, it is only natural that the same situation can lead to different conclusions. And differences in decision criteria are not the only challenge. Another major problem is that the information people need often fails to reach the right person, or the right AI, at the right time. Fourth challenge in coordination is information asymmetry. Even when the necessary information exists, it is often not shared with the people, AI systems, or organizations that need it. Information is scattered across databases, documents, chat platforms, emails, and external sources. As a result, people struggle to find the information they need. AI systems can only work with limited knowledge, and organizations and society find it difficult to build a shared understanding. The problem is not that information is missing. The real challenge is that existing information does not reach the right people, or the right AI, at the right time. Now that we've explored these four challenges, let's take a moment to summarize them before moving on. There is no single reason why coordination becomes difficult. First, there is uncertainty about expectations. We cannot always predict what others will do next. Second, there is a lack of transparency in decision-making. We often cannot explain why a particular decision was made. Third, there is misalignment of decision criteria. People, AI, organizations, and institutions each make decisions based on different standards. And fourth, there is information asymmetry. The right information does not always reach the right people or the right AI at the right time. When these four challenges come together, coordination between people and AI, among multiple AI systems, across organizations, and throughout society becomes increasingly difficult. This means that simply building more powerful AI is not enough to solve the problem. What we need is a foundation that can overcome these four barriers and enable diverse participants to collaborate with confidence. So, what exactly is the trust that forms the foundation of this infrastructure? We do not see trust as simply an emotion. Of course, goodwill and personal relationships are important, but trust based only on feelings can easily change as circumstances and emotions change. That is not enough for AI, organizations, and society to collaborate safely and effectively. To us, trust is the confidence that comes from understanding others. When we understand someone, we can anticipate how they are likely to act. When we can anticipate their actions, we can confidently delegate responsibilities and work together. And that confidence is what makes true collaboration possible. So, what does it really mean to understand another participant? To us, trust is the ability to understand another participant's intent, decisions, and actions. When we understand someone's intent, we understand what they are trying to achieve. When we understand their decisions, we know what information, rules, and reasoning led them to that conclusion. And when we understand their actions, we can anticipate the outcomes those decisions are likely to produce. When we understand these three elements, behavior becomes far more predictable. When we can predict behavior, we gain confidence. When we have confidence, we can safely delegate responsibilities, and that confidence enables collaboration between people and AI, among AI systems, across organizations, and throughout society. But this raises an important question. How does that understanding actually emerge? Trust does not emerge naturally, whether it is between people and AI, or among AI systems. Trust is not created simply by existing together. If we do not understand another participant's intent, if we do not know why a decision was made, if we cannot anticipate what they are going to do next, then we cannot collaborate with confidence. In other words, trust does not come from simply choosing to believe. It comes from having information that allows us to understand one another. And when that understanding exists, confident collaboration becomes possible. So, how can we share that understanding across people, AI systems, organizations, and society as a whole? As the number of participants in collaboration grows, it becomes impossible to maintain trust through human intuition alone. When collaboration is only between people, experience and communication can often fill the gaps. But as collaboration expands to include people, AI systems, multiple AI agents, organizations, and society as a whole, it is no longer realistic for humans alone to keep track of who is thinking what, why decisions are being made, and how actions are unfolding. That is why we propose using AI itself to make the information that supports trust visible. By organizing information about intent, decisions, and actions in a way that everyone can understand, we can create an environment where people and AI can collaborate with confidence. This is the vision behind the Chinova Trust Infrastructure. So, how can this vision be turned into a practical system? Chinova Trust Infrastructure is the architecture we propose to make the information that supports trust visible, enabling people, AI, organizations, and society to collaborate with confidence. At its core are 5 key elements: intent, decision, action, trace, and explanation. In other words, why was this action intended? How was the decision made? What was actually executed? And how can the entire process be recorded and explained so that anyone can understand it? To achieve this, we propose 4 complementary components. The first is decision trace. It records the decision-making process, making intentions and reasoning visible, and reducing uncertainty about future behavior. The second is knowledge flow. It delivers the right knowledge to the right people and AI systems, addressing information asymmetry. The third is boundary. It enables people, AI, and organizations to share common rules, roles, and responsibilities, helping align different decision criteria. And the fourth is runtime society. It brings these components together to create an environment where people, AI, organizations, and society can collaborate continuously and safely. These 4 components are not independent technologies. Together, they form the foundation for understandable AI, trustworthy collaboration, and a sustainable AI society. Let's begin with the core of this architecture: decision trace. Decision trace is a mechanism that records and visualizes how a decision is made, step by step, over time. When we think about decision making, we often focus only on the final outcome. But in reality, a decision is never made in isolation. It begins with understanding the situation and defining the objective. Next, the system evaluates the relevant rules, constraints, and conditions, compares multiple possible options, and selects the most appropriate course of action. The decision is then executed, the results are observed, and the insights gained become the foundation for future decisions. Decision trace captures this entire process, making it visible in a way that anyone can review and understand. As a result, we can clearly answer the question, why was this decision made? This transparency enables people, AI systems, and organizations to collaborate with greater confidence. Because the reasoning behind each decision is recorded, it also becomes possible to trace the root cause of problems, improve future decisions, and support continuous learning. In other words, decision trace is far more than a logging system. It makes decision-making itself understandable, reducing uncertainty about future behavior and increasing transparency of intent. By doing so, it provides a foundation on which people, AI, and organizations can build trust and collaborate effectively. However, even if every decision can be fully explained, good decisions are impossible without the right knowledge. That brings us to the next essential component, knowledge flow. Knowledge flow is a mechanism that delivers the right knowledge to the right people, AI systems, and organizations at the right time. Every organization possesses a vast amount of knowledge, stored in documents, databases, chat conversations, emails, best practices, and the experience of its people. But this knowledge is often scattered across many different places, making it difficult for the right people or AI systems to access when they need it. As a result, critical knowledge remains locked away in individuals, information is difficult to locate, and outdated data is often used. These problems reduce both the quality of decisions and the efficiency of collaboration. Knowledge flow continuously collects, connects, structures, and delivers this distributed knowledge to the right participants at the right moment. In other words, it creates a continuous cycle of gathering knowledge, connecting it, delivering it, and putting it into action. As this happens, information asymmetry is reduced, and the knowledge needed for decision-making becomes accessible to everyone. Decisions become faster, more accurate, and collaboration between people, AI systems, and organizations becomes far more effective. At the same time, because knowledge is constantly flowing and evolving, both organizations and AI systems can continue to learn and improve over time. In other words, knowledge flow is much more than a knowledge management system. It is the foundation that eliminates information asymmetry by ensuring that the right knowledge reaches the right participants at the right time, enabling better decisions and more effective collaboration. However, sharing knowledge alone is not enough to create trustworthy collaboration. We also need clear answers to questions such as, who is responsible for what? What authority does each participant have? Which rules should they follow? Without clear boundaries, misunderstandings and conflicts are inevitable. That is why the next essential component is boundary. Boundary is the mechanism that enables people, AI systems, and organizations to collaborate safely by clearly defining the boundaries of roles, authority, rules, and data. In collaborative environments, the biggest challenges are rarely caused by a lack of capability. Instead, they arise from uncertainty. Who is responsible for this task? How far is each participant allowed to act? Which rules should take priority? What data is available to use? When these questions are left unanswered, misunderstandings, conflicts, and unclear accountability are inevitable. Boundary addresses these challenges by defining clear boundaries. It first establishes role boundaries, specifying who is responsible for what and where that responsibility begins and ends. Next, it defines authority boundaries, controlling who can access which information and which actions they are permitted to perform. It also establishes rule boundaries, enabling people, AI systems, and organizations to make decisions based on a shared set of principles. Finally, it defines data boundaries, ensuring that information can be shared and used securely and appropriately. With these boundaries in place, responsibilities become clear, unnecessary conflicts are reduced, risks are minimized, and collaboration becomes far more reliable. In other words, boundary is not about restricting people or AI. It is about creating a shared framework that enables everyone to collaborate freely while using their capabilities safely and effectively. However, understanding decisions through decision trace, delivering knowledge through knowledge flow, and establishing governance through boundary are still not enough to make society function as a whole. The real challenge is integrating these three capabilities into a continuous system where people, AI, organizations, and society can collaborate seamlessly over time. That is the role of runtime society. Runtime society is the social infrastructure that integrates decision trace, knowledge flow, and boundary, enabling people, AI systems, organizations, and society to collaborate continuously while creating new value. So far, we have explored each of these components individually. Decision trace makes the decision-making process transparent, providing the foundation for trustworthy decisions. Knowledge flow delivers the right knowledge to the right participants, reducing information asymmetry. Boundary defines roles, authority, and rules, creating a safe environment for collaboration. Runtime society brings all of these capabilities together into a single operational foundation. People and AI communicate and develop a shared understanding. They make decisions based on common rules, build consensus, and turn those decisions into action. The outcomes are then evaluated. The lessons are learned, and those insights are fed back into future decisions. This continuous cycle extends beyond individuals to AI systems, organizations, and ultimately, society as a whole. In other words, runtime society is not a framework for supporting one-time decisions. It is the infrastructure that supports continuous decision-making, execution, learning, adaptation, and collaboration. As this collaborative model expands across society, people, AI systems, organizations, and communities begin to complement one another, co-creating new forms of value. And what is the foundation that truly makes such a society possible? It is trust, an infrastructure for society itself, just as essential as roads, electricity, and communication networks. Believe that trust will become a fundamental infrastructure for the society of the future. Roads allow people and goods to move safely. Electricity keeps our industries and daily lives running. Communication networks connect people and organizations across any distance. And digital networks enable information and value to flow around the world, creating entirely new forms of society. Most of the time, we hardly notice these infrastructures, but if they disappear, society can no longer function. We believe that trust in the age of AI will become just as essential for people, AI systems, organizations, and society to make decisions, collaborate, and create value with confidence. We need an infrastructure that supports trust. This foundation cannot rely solely on human intuition or experience. It must enable the sharing of information that helps us understand one another's intent, decisions, and actions, creating an environment where collaboration is both safe and trustworthy. That is the vision behind the trust infrastructure we propose. Just as roads connect people, electricity powers society, and communication networks deliver information, trust infrastructure will connect people, AI systems, organizations, and society through trust. And as this infrastructure becomes part of our society, the role of AI itself will be fundamentally transformed. Until now, AI has been a powerful tool used by people. Humans gave instructions, and AI provided answers. People remained responsible for making decisions, while AI supported the decision-making process. But the future of AI is fundamentally different. AI will no longer operate in isolation. It will interact with people, collaborate with other AI systems, work alongside organizations, and participate as a member of society. Rather than waiting for human instructions, AI will share responsibilities, cooperate with others, and help create value across society. That is why the future is not simply about building more powerful AI. It is about creating the infrastructure that enables safe, trustworthy collaboration within society. The trust infrastructure we propose is the architecture designed to make that possible. Decision trace makes decision-making transparent and understandable. Knowledge flow delivers the right knowledge to the right people and AI systems at the right time. Boundary establishes shared rules, responsibilities, and governance. And runtime society integrates these capabilities into a continuous environment where people, AI systems, organizations, and society can collaborate to create new value together. Our goal is not simply to make AI more intelligent. Our goal is to build a future where AI is trusted, works alongside people, and continues creating value for society. That future is built on the Chinoba Trust infrastructure. Thank you very much for watching until the end. The rapid evolution of generative AI has brought us to a major turning point. AI is no longer just a tool. It is becoming a participant in society, working alongside people, collaborating with other AI systems, supporting organizations, and contributing to the future of our communities. In this new era, more powerful AI alone is not enough. We need a social infrastructure that enables people and AI to understand one another, collaborate with confidence, and create value together. That is the vision behind the Chinoba Trust infrastructure. It enables us to understand each other's intent, to understand the reasoning behind each decision, to understand the actions that follow. And by making this understanding visible and shareable between people and AI, it creates the foundation for trust and sustainable collaboration. Our vision is not a society that simply controls AI. It is a society where people, AI, organizations, and communities understand one another, trust one another, and build the future together. At Chinoba Research, we continue to share our research, architectures, and real-world implementations for this future. If you found this presentation interesting, we invite you to visit Chinoba Research, explore our research blog, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's build a future connected by trust. Together. Thank you very much.